It was one of those evenings when the sky looked tired, painted with bruised shades of orange and gray. Inside Highway Diner, the clatter of plates and low hum of conversations filled the air. Among the chatter, one woman stood out. Not because she tried to, but because of how silently she moved. Anna Miller, 32, had been working here for almost 8 years. She was the kind of waitress who remembered every customer's coffee order, every regular's joke, and even when to simply smile instead of speaking. Her apron was faded, her sneakers were worn, but her spirit, kind, patient, and quietly brave, had never dulled. But that night, her quiet world was about to collide with something loud, misunderstood, and extraordinary. Hook, when a biker wearing a black leather vest walked into the diner that night, everyone went silent. His beard was rugged, tattoos peeking from under his sleeves, and his eyes, cold yet tired, scanned the room. The other customers shifted uncomfortably. Parents pulled their kids closer. The manager whispered, "Keep an eye on that one." But Anna didn't see a criminal or a troublemaker. She saw a man who looked like he hadn't eaten properly in days. So, while everyone else stared with judgment, she smiled and said softly, "Coffee's fresh. Want a cup?" Little did she know, that small act of kindness would cost her everything, her job, her peace, but would also rewrite her destiny in a way she never could have imagined. Before we dive deeper, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Universe if you believe even one small act of compassion can change someone's entire life. The biker's name was Luke Carter. He was a member of the Hells Angels, or at least that's what his patch said. But that night, he wasn't a biker on a mission. He was a man mourning the loss of his brother. He ordered just a coffee and sat in the far corner, his hands trembling slightly as he held the cup. Anna noticed. She didn't pry, she didn't judge. She simply refilled his mug and said, "It's on the house." Luke looked up, his voice rough. "You sure? People don't usually say that to me." Anna shrugged. Maybe they should. The warmth in her tone broke through his walls, even if just a crack. For the first time that day, Luke smiled. But not everyone shared her kindness. Moments later, the manager, Mr. Dorson, approached the table with a fake smile and venom beneath it. "Sir, we don't serve your kind here." The diner fell silent again. Forks froze midair. Luke set his coffee down, trying to stay calm. "My kind?" he asked slowly. Mr. Dorson folded his arms. "You bikers, you make trouble. We run a clean place here." Anna stepped forward before she even realized it. "He's done nothing wrong, sir. He's a paying customer. Stay out of it, Anna," the manager hissed. "I said we don't serve them." Something snapped inside her. All those years of serving rude customers, taking insults, being told to stay quiet, ended right there. She looked her boss dead in the eye and said, "You don't get to decide who deserves respect." The silence afterward was deafening. Luke stood up slowly, trying to diffuse the tension. "It's fine, I'll go." But Anna stopped him. "No. You'll finish your coffee, that was it." Mr. Dorson's face turned red. "You're fired, Anna. Get out of my sight." The words hit her like a punch, but she didn't flinch. She untied her apron, folded it neatly, and placed it on the counter. "You can take my job," she said quietly, "but you can't take my humanity." Luke tried to apologize, but she shook her head. "You did nothing wrong. Keep your chin up, okay?" As she walked out into the cold night, she had no idea what that moment of defiance had set in motion. For the next few weeks, Anna struggled. Rent was late, job applications went unanswered, and the world felt heavier with each passing day. She tried to stay strong for her mother, who was bedridden after a stroke. Every night she'd sit by her bedside, holding her hand and whispering, "We'll be okay, Mom. I promise." But behind those words, her faith was cracking. Until one afternoon, there was a thunderous sound outside her small apartment, like a storm made of engines. When she looked out the window, she froze. Hundreds, no, thousands of motorcycles were lining the street. The air vibrated with the sound. People came out of their houses, recording videos, murmuring in awe. At the front of the crowd stood Luke, his leather jacket gleaming under the sun. He smiled faintly when he saw her step outside. "Anna Miller," he said, his voice echoing through the street. "You probably don't remember me, but I remember you." She blinked, stunned. "Luke? What What is all this? He stepped forward, pulling off his gloves. That night, you stood up for me when no one else did. You lost your job for it. You treated me like a human being when the world saw me as garbage. The boys heard about it, every single one of them. He gestured behind him, where nearly 2,000 bikers stood, some holding banners that read, "Respect for Anna and kindness matters." "We're not here to cause trouble," Luke said. "We're here to return a favor." The next scene looked straight out of a movie. The entire biker convoy rode to Highway Diner, engines rumbling like thunder. The manager, pale and trembling, peeked through the window as the sea of leather vests filled the parking lot. Anna stood beside Luke, her hands shaking. "Luke, please, don't hurt him," he chuckled. "We're not here to hurt anyone, just making things right." The bikers didn't break anything, didn't yell, didn't threaten. They lined up at the counter one by one, ordering coffee, burgers, and pies. Every single one of them asked to pay double, sometimes triple. Within hours, the diner ran out of food. The cash register overflowed. When it was all done, Luke dropped a signed check on the counter. A check so large it silenced even Mr. Dorson's arrogance. "We just bought this place," Luke said calmly. "In Anna's name." The old man stuttered. You can't." "Oh, we can," Luke said. "And we did. You treated her like dirt. Now she owns the floor you're standing on." Anna's knees almost gave way. She couldn't believe it. Luke turned to her, his voice softening. "It's yours now, Anna. You stood up for one of us when no one else would. Consider this our way of saying thank you." Tears rolled down her face as she whispered, "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll keep it open for everyone," Luke replied with a grin. "No judgments, no hate, just good food and open hearts." She nodded through tears. "Always." Months later, Highway Diner reopened. New name, new sign. It read, "The Open Road Cafe, where kindness is served first." The place was packed every day, bikers, travelers, families, all sitting side by side. The very people who once crossed the street to avoid men like Luke now shared laughter and stories with them inside Anna's diner. Anna became a quiet symbol of courage in her town. A woman who lost everything for doing what was right, only to gain something far greater in return. Her mother, watching from her wheelchair one morning, smiled and said, "You built something beautiful, sweetheart." Anna looked around the bustling cafe, then at the photo of Luke and his brothers hanging by the door. "No, Mom," she said softly. "We all did." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Universe. Your support helps us keep sharing true and inspiring tales that remind the world kindness is never wasted. As the sun dipped low, Anna locked the cafe doors and stepped outside. The distant rumble of motorcycle engines echoed faintly in the wind, almost like a promise. She closed her eyes and smiled, because now she knew, doing the right thing might cost you something at first, but it always, always finds its way back. Moral kindness doesn't need a reason, it needs courage, and one brave heart can change 1,000 others.